And good morning. Today we're looking at the J7W1 mid-tier upgrade review. Don't sound real enthusiastic, do I? It's just an aircraft that I'm not that fond of. We're following a couple of lines that I just don't think a whole lot of. Excuse me. The Yak 15 and this are kind of neck and neck of which aircraft I really feel the strangest about. I'm going to do my bit here, try to blow a plane out of the sky. We have removed the bombs from this, in my opinion, and it is my opinion. The aircraft is just simply cannot afford the speed loss. Not at tier 8. It's already slow, and that's just too much. Now, this thing has ferocious firepower. I mean, ferocious. There is, to my knowledge, wow, just incredibly vicious firepower. How much? Well, to the tune of about 800 plus. 420 millimeter cannons mounted in a quartet in the nose. It's relatively maneuverable. I would put it in the P-51 category. 10-second turn time for a 360-degree maneuver. It's slow. 460 at the mid-tier, and look for another 6 miles an hour or so, which is really not going to change it. What does the aircraft really need? Well, more speed. Aircraft polish is something you'd really, really want to look at. And I see we have aircraft coming in, and is this the right aircraft for that? I want to see what the heck we have coming in. You notice that big, heavy, powerful didn't last very long, did it? And I need to find that aircraft. Get past the particle effects here. And because I got torn up so bad by whatever was behind me in the last, I didn't last very long. I would normally expect to kill that aircraft every time. Apparently he didn't last very long either. We'll go ahead and regen. Now you really, really want to keep the mining base in this map. And this aircraft, in my mind, and if you guys got to have different positions on this or opinions on this, let me know. Where I see this aircraft really coming into play is an anti-bomber, anti-ground attack aircraft because of its tremendous firepower. The guns do not lend themselves well to dogfighting. You can do it. It is a bit of an art. But you notice that it took those bombers apart almost instantly. It took ground attack aircraft apart. You know, we're talking, some of those ground attack aircraft have 1,500 survival points on them. They're big, healthy. And you notice I'm not really doing a whole lot to go after the bombers right now. Let's go ahead and kill that. I see another aircraft off to the side here, and I do not. Yeah, I figure you want to nose over. Like I said, then you have to wait for the cool down. It's not a great I'd rather, if you were going to use this for dogfighting, I'd much rather have 420s than 430s. That's not really its role, in my opinion. Yours may vary. I'm certainly open to discussion, aircraft configuration, so forth and so on. Again, it's my opinion, and everybody's got one. And you know the old saw about that. Everybody's got an opinion, and they all stink. Carrying ordnance on this, slowing down the aircraft, is just a mistake. All right, it's already too slow. Get that, get your airframe upgrades, get your aircraft polished. You'll have something you can fight with. Get yourself a lightweight airframe, increase the maneuverability all you can, get yourself the surface control surface adjustments on there, and it gets to be a pretty decent fighter. If you want the 30 millimeter guns, you're going to have to learn, and it's possible. Okay, you've seen me knock down aircraft, fighter aircraft with this. It's an aircraft you absolutely want to encourage people to go head to head with you. ME-262, you know, it's got 430 millimeters guns. It's got fast. It's not very maneuverable. You want to go nose to nose with that. Be very good with your aim. All right, but there is nothing you can't go nose to nose with and win. Without the ordnance on this is a much better aircraft than it is with it. I don't care if it says multi-role or not. I don't think you're going to add that much to ground attack with this with two 500-pound bombs. If you had two 500-pound bombs and you want to go with the armor-piercing ammunition, that's expensive as all get out, but if you want to do it, it could be a halfway decent ground attack aircraft. But I am not willing to start spending gold for ammunition. That's my personal choice. Do what you want. If you have the budget for it, by all means. We had good effect here. We obviously got some badges on here. It came up number 2. I think we did a fairly good job. But I played to the aircraft's strengths, which were, you know, go after ground attack aircraft, go after bombers, deal with fighters as you have to, but don't try to, you don't have the speed of a P-51. A P-51, you can boom and zoom. This doesn't have the altitude capability to do that. It has a role. It has a definitive role. God knows if the Yak-15 was outfitted with a pair of 30s and a 20, I would be far more in favor of the aircraft than I am. But it does not. So, and this is right there why this aircraft is so effective. When you look at that, there's very little vertical or horizontal dispersion. You don't need a gyroscopic gun sight on this. You put your pipper where it needs to go, adjust for the trajectory of those slow-moving 30 millimeters, and you're going to hit. And you're going to hit incredibly hard, and you rarely have to hit more than twice. Sometimes once is enough to rip an aircraft clean out of the sky or damage it so badly it's meat on the hook. Great aircraft when used correctly. And that you... But this is also an aircraft that has a lot of questions to me, and in the way the World of Warplanes set it up. It was designed as an interceptor. The 30 millimeters were the only armament they ever talked about putting on this aircraft. And the engine in the back, I'll give you an idea how heavy these were, was needed to balance out having 430s in the nose. Okay, you're talking that kind of weight. And then you throw all the associated ammunition that they needed, and it was quite a heavy package. So it's packed up here in the front, engines back here in the back. Your gas is going to be back here. All right. It's not it's like I said, it's going to be right in the range of a P-51 in maneuverability. Unfortunately, the other question I have here with World of Warplanes positioning this aircraft is the way it was. Altitude performance. Let's look at that. 4,600 feet. This thing was designed with one purpose in mind. It was to come up. Didn't would imagine that it didn't have great range. It was designed to take off from airfields, ascend to 25 to 30,000 feet, take on B-29s that were moving an average of over 300 miles an hour, shoot them down, come back, rearm, and do it all over again. It was at that point of the game. You didn't need aircraft to go out there and fight aircraft carriers and everything else. Now you were defending the homeland. And that's what this aircraft was designed to do. How does that work with this? All right. What is bombs being done? Why would anybody hang bombs off this aircraft? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's my own personal, But there is no accumulated data on this. These aircraft, literally, the first one flew the day Hiroshima was bombed. The second one flew the day Nagasaki was bombed. And the Japanese government, if I remember right, capitulated either within the week to 10 days afterwards. So this thing had done a couple of test flights, and that's all we know of it. I don't think even it was stated that the test pilot was very strict. He was given very strict instructions and followed them to the letter of just taking the aircraft out, taking it through maneuvers at the specified speeds. They didn't push the aircraft at all or see what it could do yet. And so there is no data on it. So that's beautiful in a way if you're designing a war game and you need to plug a ship into, I call it, pilots in World War II often refer to their aircraft as ships. So if you hear me make that slip, that's what it's about. But why would you ever do that with a plane that you designed to be an interceptor? It was supposed to rip bombers out of the sky. And it does do that. I just wanted to see this with another 5,000 feet, 4,000 feet on it anyway. And then it becomes a whole different aircraft, doesn't it? So it's a thought. Maybe Warcraft or World of Warplanes, I should say, will address the aircraft, address this, and give it a more positive role. Not only two complaints about the aircraft really are the speed, and you can see when you upgrade this thing totally, the 466 at tier 8, really? And the altitude. Low altitude, it's not even a tourney fighter, so it's only a semi-tourney fighter. You'll notice here's your 10 seconds. You go to a P-51H, that's why I keep referring to it. There you go. 10 seconds. Now, would I love to have 420s on this? Absolutely. But you'll notice 8,202 is the altitude of this. It was very much designed for the war it was fighting, which was over Northern Europe. And Japan was being drug up to those altitudes because of the B-29. Okay? And you look at the other aircraft that was designed for that time, And look at that, 7218. And ferocious firepower. Now, if you're trying to decide which line you want to go up, take this one. And I say that because, let's go up the tech tree. Maybe I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. Let's take a look. Let's look at the upgrades. All right. Still, great turning speed. Optimum altitude is not what you'd want, but yeah, you have 230 millimeter cannons. It's pretty vicious firepower. You know, you're looking 480 damage. That's enough. That's enough. And you still have some altitude. And when you come up here, and it's, you know, a little faster, you're going to be suffering in the speed department anyway. But it seems to me like the better line. Let's go take a look at its stablemate. I'm sorry, helps if I get to the right aircraft. Let's go look at the upgrades here. Now you're talking a jet engine. Still talking not nearly as turny, but the altitude here. You got better, less speed, and you'll eventually come up a little bit. Let's take a look at the next one. 559, 4, and 10 seconds. Maybe these are more competitive. I haven't played in Tier 9 and Tier 10 yet, so we'll see. Discussion for another day, but right now I will tell you of these two aircraft, this is by far more fun. Because of the speed, which is actually less than the other one, but the turn on this is 8 seconds. And the guns, because it's got the 20s as well as the 30s, are more usable. So if you're choosing a line, I would first off, I would go with the KI 94, KI 80, 84 on this. Just a much more enjoyable line. All right, that'll wrap it up for today. Remember to like the video if you like the video, and if you don't, hey, don't mind a thumbs down, but tell me why. Give me something to work with here, folks. And for all beings, please subscribe. I need all the subscribers I can get. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.